Okay, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And also welcome if you are not currently a Shortcuts user. It's fantastic to have you on board. Like I said, good afternoon. My name is Chris, and I'm one of the Shortcuts educators here, predominantly based in the Southeast. Now, today, what we're going to be going through is we're going to be going through a refresher and sort of new starter training. So what you're going to get from this is essentially, if you've never been with Shortcuts before and you're thinking of switching over to us, fantastic, that's great news. We're going to show you some of the very basic functions, okay? So this is just a small drop in the ocean, of course, of what Shortcuts can offer you. And of course, if you are currently a Shortcuts user, it's basically going to be a refresher to touch upon those skills. Because I appreciate with everything going on, you may not have been utilizing it and using it as much as you did before. So we're just going to ease everyone back into it over the next couple of weeks to ensure, we haven't forgot any essential bits and bobs. So that's what we're going to be going through today. So it's just going to be a brush up, and we're of course going to go through some of the very basic functions we have to offer. Now, of course, all of the webinars are going to be recorded, this one in particular. So please ensure just moving forward, we've got our speakers turned up nice and loud. And of course, you can hear me. Today's webinar, this one in particular, should last roughly between 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, most of my webinars do roughly last between 30 minutes to 60 minutes, okay, depending on how many questions we get. Now, if you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to answer them throughout. Depending on the topic of the questions, I may answer them there and then live, or I may save them towards the end, but it's entirely dependent on the topic of the question. But I will get to all of the questions eventually. Okay, so if you've never been on one of my webinars before, they're predominantly made up between PowerPoint slideshows and live demonstrations. This one in particular is going to be 90% a live demonstration with just a few bits and bobs just in the initial stages, just to sort of help you out if you've never used Shortcuts before, or if you're brand new to setting up the system. So when it comes to new starter training, so please ensure you do have your new employee created on the system, and they have been assigned a level. Okay, so that is a senior stylist, graduate stylist, and so forth. So this is just very basic early on initial stuff we're going to be going through, and of course have been allocated the correct security role and PIN before they can log into Shortcuts. Now, hopefully everyone should have already got that set up if you do have a new starter. If not, we can always go through that at a later date. That's not a problem. So today's lesson will show you how to use Shortcuts on a day-to-day basis and have you successfully booking in clients in no time. So hopefully this is something we can do very, very soon as the lockdown has been lifted. So in today's session, we will be covering the overview of our appointment book and creating appointments and the day-to-day running of the salon, the business, that kind of thing. We're also going to be looking at client data and client cards and how this can be managed. And we're also going to be looking at our Shortcuts POS system, point of sale. Think of this as like our till system. We're also going to be looking at adding new services as well as products to a sale line, and of course taking a client's bill. Now, when I refer to it as a sale line, that essentially means I'm just adding something to that client's bill. And of course, I'm going to be looking at the employee performance and how they can track this on a day-to-day basis. Marseille is just asking, I can't see anything. Can I just double check everyone can see the PowerPoint presentation, which is should just be on in the session PowerPoint. Perfect, thank you. Lovely, thank you. Perfect. Okay, Marseille, it might just be worth if you just log out and just log back in again. It may just be yours. It does look like everyone else is able to see it. We're only going through the PowerPoint presentation at the moment. Okay. So just give that a couple of seconds. If you could just log out and log back in, Marseille, okay. Perfect. We'll just give that a couple more seconds. Perfect. So the last bit there, employee performance and how they can track that on a day-to-day basis. So like I said, we're only going to be going through some of the very, very basic functions our software has to offer. Perfect. Thank you ever so much, Marcia. Okay, so that's pretty much it for all of the slideshows. Like I said, it's going to be about 90% a live demonstration. We can jump straight into it, show you exactly how it works. Now, if you do need to contact us for anything, please feel free to drop me an email at education@shortcuts.co.uk. Or of course, you can give us a call on 0161 972 4900. Perfect. So let's jump into our live demonstration. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up our shortcut system. Now, our main shortcut system goes by the name of Fusion. So this is Shortcuts Fusion. Okay, just in case nobody was aware of what we refer to it as. So now I'm going to give you a basic breakdown of our appointment book and our shortcut system. So as we look at this, this is our appointment book now. So of course, this is what we're going to be using most of the time. Now we can always navigate to the appointment book by clicking in the top right-hand corner where it says main and clicking appointments, but you will find 99.9% of the time, it will automatically default back to your appointment book. So as we look at it in the top left-hand corner, you will see we have today's date, Wednesday, the 6th of May. And if we click onto the calendar, we can choose a specific day, specific month, or a specific year. Now, to give you a handy tip, you will notice we have this light gray section just here. And you will also notice we have this dark gray section just here. And that continues on and off, light gray, dark gray, light gray, dark gray. Now, as a quick visual indicator, that is letting you know that is a full calendar month. Now, at Shortcuts, we love to help you out, hence the name, and we love our quick visual indicators. So we can see there, the light and the dark gray represents a full calendar month. And of course, today's date is highlighted in red. To the top right-hand corner, you will also see we have today's date and today's time. And in the bottom right-hand corners of your PCs, laptops, Macs, and so forth, you will also notice, again, we have today's date and today's time. Down the bottom of the screen, again, you will see we have today's date, or this will always show the day you are looking at. Okay, so we're currently looking at Wednesday, the 6th of May. So if you're joining us from potentially moving over from a paper book, think of this as just like the paper and then flicking through the pages of a book. So right down the bottom of the screen, we have 5 buttons. We have the Today button, and clicking on this will take us directly back to today. We have the Day Forward button, which if we click on this, we can navigate. And again, this is like flicking through the pages of a book. And again, if we click on the Week button, we can jump forward 7 days. Now, if you want to skip forward maybe 2, 4, or 6 weeks for the clients that come in for colors or blow dries or cuts, if on the Week button just here, we right click with this right-hand side of our mouse, we can skip forward 2, 4, or 6. And again, at any point, we can jump back to today by clicking on the Today button. So nice and quick. So if you are joining us from coming over from a paper-based appointment book, you can see how quick and easy it is just to flick through those pages. Okay, now as we look down the left-hand side of the appointment book, you will see we have 15-minute increments, and these are our appointment time intervals. So we can see my appointment book is set up in 15-minute intervals, so 2, 2:15, 2:30, and so forth. But don't worry if yours goes in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and so forth. You can always change that in the setup, okay? Now again, as we look at the screen, you will see we have this dark section just here. And underneath we have this lighter section, and it's kind of divided by this invisible line just here. This is the past and this is the present. Now, some of our eagle eye viewers may have noticed we are only looking at a small portion of the day. So if in the bottom right hand corner, we click onto the menu button just here, we can change the view mode. So we're currently looking at quarter of the day. And if I change this to all day, you'll see it essentially zooms out. And you can change this as many times as you wish to. So again, it's a great feature to have to be able to change the view functionality depending on how you like to look at your appointment book. Now, you will also notice Sarah, Matt, and James, my 3 employees here, are not set to work today, but we do have Chris, myself here, that is set to work today. Now, you may be thinking, if I've got loads and loads of staff members, this can be quite confusing. So I don't accidentally want to book an appointment in James's column, but maybe Chris's column. So we can filter the appointment book down. So in the bottom left-hand corner, if you see where the funnel is, we can click onto this and we can start to filter our appointment book down. Now, there are lots of different ways to do this, and moving forward, we will always have advanced appointments where I'll go into the filtering in much more detail. But for the time being, I'm just going to show you a very basic one. So if I click here where it says rostered on essentially means it will only show me my staff members that are set to work. So they're rostered on. So you will now see it has moved everyone else. It has left Matt. The reason for this is because he has had an appointment booked in already. So even if you're not set to work that day, but maybe you are coming in for an appointment, it will still show you. But of course, it has removed everyone else that is not set to work today. To remove the filter, simply take the tick out of the bottom left-hand corner. Now, if you want to, again, you can save filters and create your own. So there's lots of different ways and lots more complex features you can use within that. But again, we're just going to go through the basics and the refreshers for today. Okay, so now what we're going to do is the all-important bit. We're going to make an appointment, okay? And we're only really going to concentrate on a few people's columns today. So I'm going to make an appointment in Chris's column. So all we need to do is find the correct cell for the correct appointment time. Now you may be thinking, well, if I want to make an appointment at 2:30, it's going to be quite difficult to decipher I'm booking it at the correct time. So if we were to click with the left-hand side of our mouse and drag up and down, you will see on the appointment intervals on the far left-hand side, it highlights in yellow. This is again to ensure we are accurately correctly booking the appointment at the correct time. Now, as a handy tip, if you ever want to just remove your mouse from here and stay on the appointment book, place your mouse in this dark black area just here. This is what I refer to as our safe area, because what you may find if we click and drag and let go on the appointment book, it takes us to our next section. Okay, so I want to make an appointment at 2:45 in Chris's column. So I'm going to place my cursor in Chris's column, click and drag and find the 2:45 mark. And we can see it highlighted on the left-hand side. I'm going to release my mouse, and this is now taking me to my client screen, my appointment book, so to speak. Now, if you have clients already in your appointment, in your appointment book, in your database, you can search for them at the top of the screen here. Now, you can search by a number of ways. You can search by last name, you can search by first name, you can search by phone number, club, email, lots of different ways to find that client. And to toggle how you're going to sort by your clients, there's a drop-down arrow conveniently located on the top right-hand corner. Now, 99% of the time, I would recommend you search via last name because, of course, it's easier to find that client and differentiate that client by their last name. Now, if we wanted to add a brand new client in, so somebody that has never been to our salon before, what we're going to do is we're going to click the new button just here on the right-hand side. And we're going to pop in our first name and we're going to pop in our last name. Now, in Shortcuts, we always do have to take one number. This is typically the mobile number. Now, you may be thinking there's lots of different fields to fill out here. You can determine, chop and change this in the settings. So if you just want to take first name, last name, and that be the end of it, you can do. Okay, so we can change that in the background. So you don't have to have as many fields here to fill out. When we've taken first name, last name, and a correct mobile number or a correct contact number, we simply click the Done button in the bottom right-hand corner. You will now see our client has appeared on the left-hand side, highlighted in red. Again, a very convenient and quick color indicator to let us know which client we're about to book. Confirm this by clicking the Done button. And you will now see we can tag the appointment. Now, tagging the appointment is quite a handy tool to have because what it does is when we run a report, we can see the kind of new clients we're getting. We can see the new request clients, salon clients, and so forth. It lets us know our demographic of clients. Now, if you don't want to, if you're in a bit of a hurry, you can leave the tag clear. So I'm going to say that this is a new client. I will outline now what each of these tags mean. So a new client is a brand new client to your salon. New request is, again, they're brand new to your salon, but they have specifically requested that particular staff member. No-show lets you know that this client often no-shows. And you will also see we have R for request client. That means they always have that particular stylist or therapist. And SC is a salon client. It means they always come to your salon, but they don't particularly mind who they see. We can now choose a service category and a service to make this appointment. On the left-hand side, you will see our service categories. To the right-hand side, you will see the services that fall within that service category. So we click the Done button. And you will now see the appointment has been made. And in the top left-hand corner, we can see we've got NC, which is our tag for new client. So it's a very quick visual indicator to let us know what kind of clients we have in our appointment book. Now, it may be a little bit hard to see, but you may see here there is a dark green section and a light green section. On the right-hand side, the dark green section, if we click and drag with the left-hand side of our mouse, we can make this appointment longer and shorter. And in doing so, you can now better differentiate between that light and dark green section. So we can see how quick and easy it is to make that appointment longer and shorter if we need to. Now, in the light green section or in the left-hand side, if we click and drag, we can move it across to somebody else's column. Now you will see as I move that across to Matt, you will see it goes this beige color. Now you may be thinking, why has that gone beige? What is that letting me know? So if we move it back to Chris, and again move it back to Matt, we've got that beige color. The reason for this is it could be one of two reasons, or it could be a couple of reasons. Matt, as we can see, isn't set to work today. So this is letting us know that we shouldn't have made an appointment in Matt's column. It could also be, again, moving a little bit more advanced, it could be that Matt's capabilities on the system are not able to do a conditioning treatment. So again, it's another quick visual indicator to let us know that something has gone wrong. Now, throughout your shortcuts journey, you may see lots of different colored appointments. If you ever forget, if we go back to our menu section in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see we have our color legend, and this will let us know all of the colors of our appointments. And we can see here our beigey brown color is a clash, essentially a mistake. So I'm going to move that back to Chris, and you'll see it turns back to a normal dark green color. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to add a note onto this appointment, okay? Now, first and foremost, I'm going to add a temporary note. It's not going to be permanent, it's purely going to be temporary. So what we're now going to do is we are going to right-click on the appointment. Now, if you're using a touchscreen monitor, you can hold your finger down until a square appears to replicate a right-click command. But I'm going to right-click with the right-hand side of my mouse, and this opens up some further details. So I'm going to add in a semi-permanent note, okay, so a temporary note. So just here, I'm going to click the notes section, and I'm going to type in maybe a note. Okay, so I'm going to add in a note there saying that my client Chris is running late. Now in the top right-hand corner, you will see we have a little post-it note. Now this is really quick and easy to read what this note is. All you need to do is tap onto it with your finger or literally click onto it with the left-hand side of our mouse. And this brings up something called the touch tip, essentially because we touched it with the tip of our finger. And this brings up all of the basic information of this appointment. So if you're running a really busy column and you turn around and you notice you maybe have a post-it note on your appointment, you can say to the front of house staff member, what is that note? And they can literally tap it and it will bring up all of the information for this appointment. Again, a fantastic tool to have. If you've tried this yourselves and you've noticed the touch tip isn't working, please let me know at the end and I will show you how to switch this on. It takes a matter of seconds to do so. Okay, so I've added in a temporary note. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in a permanent note. And this is what we refer to as an alert. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to double click onto my client. And right down the bottom of the screen, I'm going to click where it says card. And this will bring up my client's profile card, essentially where all of their personal information will sit. So you can see we've got their mobile number, their address. This is also where we can adjust their opt-in details for marketing, most importantly for GDPR. Now you will also see we have a message box down here. This isn't typically used because there's only a certain amount of characters we could use here. This message box is for things such as recently had a baby, recently adopted a dog, all of these kind of things, basic things that you may wish to refer back to from another appointment. Okay, you will also see we have a refreshment box just here. Now again, this is a fantastic tool to have. You can pop in their favorite refreshment, the idea being as soon as you see this client walk through the door, you can double click, open up the client's profile card and get their drink ready. It's a way to offer a more personal and of course a more seamless service. Okay, and of course it's very nice and proactive. But we said we wanted to add a permanent alert on because of course we've just added that temporary note. We now want to add our permanent alert, something we need to be made aware of every single time this client Chris makes an appointment. So in the bottom left hand corner you will see we have a flashing light where it says alert. So I'm going to click onto that and write in my alert. Now you will also notice it always comes up date specific. This is if something important happened for this alert on that particular date. Okay, so I'm going to say that this client has an allergy to latex. So in the bottom right-hand corner, click the Save button, and then simply click the Done button and the Done button again. You will now notice in the top right-hand corner, we have this orange and white exclamation mark. And again, if we enable our touch tip by clicking onto it or touching it with our finger, you will now see we have our client message has an allergy to latex. Now you may be thinking, okay, that's all well and good, but I've already made the appointment. How can I be made aware of this alert before we make the appointment? So let's make another appointment for Chris. If we click onto Chris here, you will now see in the middle of the screen, it says in red letters, has an allergy to latex. So this lets us know before we finalize this appointment that this client has an allergy to latex, or it may be that they have a substantial amount of hair and need more time to do the highlights or the cut. Now, as we are looking at this screen, you'll also see some basic information for this client. So you can see how many points in the staff club if you're using clubs. You'll also see how many visits of those that were no-shows or cancellations, average spend outstanding, and of course, any upfront payments. So it's all in a very quick and easy to read dashboard. Okay, and then underneath we can see their client series, and also here you can see that they have no future appointments. Now it may be that Chris wants to make another appointment, and we can see the future appointments he's got booked in, and also underneath any past appointments that have been created. Okay, again, it's an accurate way to ensure we book the correct appointment to maybe match what they had before. Okay, so we've now made a temporary note, and of course we've made a permanent alert. But what about if we wanted to add, let's say, a message to one of our staff members instead of a client? Now at the top of the screen, all we need to do on our staff member, we're going to right click again, and we're going to click where it says message. And we're just going to pop a little message in there. Ooh. I'll just change the spelling there so it's correct. Perfect. So you now see I've added a temporary note onto our stylist or therapist, and we can see that at the top here. And if we right click onto it and click onto message, we can read, well, the spelling's not great today, sorry. We can now see the message for this particular staff member. Okay, now this is completely, ooh, I think my internet dropped out. Can everyone still see my screen okay? Perfect, thank you. Let me just load that back up. I apologize for that. I think everyone working from home has caused the internet to drop out a little bit. Okay, right, there we go. Let me just bring my screen back. I think it did drop out a little bit. Okay, so just to double check there, can everyone now see the shortcut screen again? We should be looking at the appointment book again. Great stuff. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. I think my internet had a slight glitch. Everyone working from home, I'm not sure, but we're back in business now. Okay, perfect. So what we did, we just added a temporary note onto our stylist or therapist as well. Now, one thing to bear in mind when you do add a note to your stylist or your therapist, it is date specific. So if you do want to add a note on for next week, just navigate your way to next week. Okay, perfect. So now what we have our client who is now ready for a service. So when Chris arrives, we can see Chris here. So he's technically due for his appointment now. If we were to right click, and if at the top we click where it says arrived, the appointment will turn blue. Now, don't worry, I'm using a test system where I've set something up called service started. Apologies, I probably should have switched it off so I didn't confuse anyone. But the light blue section basically means your client has arrived. And again, the reason we do this is, of course, again, a visual indicator. Now, we have said that my client here, Chris, is a new client. So you may not physically know literally what they look like when they walk through the salon door. So arriving this client will let your stylist know that they are in the building. Now, of course, we'd like to think in a real life scenario, your colleagues would, of course, let you know your client has arrived. But again, in case they haven't, Shortcuts has thought of that by turning the client blue when they do arrive. Okay, so we can now see my client has arrived. We can now say that they are ready to check out. We're fast forward 45 minutes to an hour, and they are now ready to check out. They're ready to pay their bill. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, and we're going to click where it says check out, okay? And this will transfer the client to the point of sale screen. And we can see that just here. Now you will also see on the right hand side, we always have our point of sale screen, and you can grab the client from there as well and pop them in the point of sale screen. But the quickest way is to right click and click the checkout button. So we have now brought the client to the point of sale screen. So we're essentially now ready to take this client's bill. In the top left hand corner, you will see we have that flashing red siren. For those of you that can remember, if we click onto it, this is our alert. Now, the reason you have to click onto it to bring that alert up is for basically data privacy. So it doesn't bring up any information in case anyone decides to lean over the reception desk and, of course, look at your screen. Underneath, we can see the employee which did the service. And on the middle to the right-hand side, we can see the product and or service that they've purchased or had done. We can see the price and any discount. And of course, there is the total £10. Now, let's say that it wasn't a condition treatment they had a different service. To change it is very simple. All we do is we click onto it, click the service button, and change over the service. If you have the correct security set up, you can also change the price by simply clicking onto it and changing the price. Now, when it comes to adding discount, you can, of course, manually take the discount off or manually adjust it, but I would always recommend you use what we call discount reasons. Now, hopefully the managers, owners, directors, and so forth would have already set up what we call discount reasons. The reason we do this is, of course, there is a report where you can track how well these discounts are working for you, or of course, how many discounts you're giving. To give a discount, you can simply click the discount button here and choose the relevant discount reason. Now, let's say that this client also had another service as well as purchasing a product. If they did have another service, simply click on any one of the empty grey sale lines underneath. Choose who did the service, and then again, click the service button. And then we can choose another service. If they purchase the product, if you're using a barcode scanner, you can now simply scan the product. If you're not using a barcode scanner, again, simply click one of the empty grey sale lines, choose who sold the product, and this time click the product button. And it will, of course, adjust the bill accordingly. If at any point they wish to remove one of these products, but they decided maybe $19.95 is a little bit too much for today, and they don't wish to purchase this product, simply change the quantity from 1 to 0. And of course, if they want to purchase multiples, you can do this here as well. Okay. Now, as we look at this, you will see we have Chris that did the full set of nails and James that did the blow dry. Now, if we wanted to take the discount off, like we said, we can click the discount button here. But there is also a discount button just down here. Now, they do differ, okay? So if we were to click the discount button down here, this would take the discount off of both services. Now, it may be that Chris is a new staff member and is only offering discount to his clients, whereas James isn't. So if we were to click the discount button here, it would then divide the discount evenly, which of course you may not wish to happen. So choosing the discount columns here will only do it for that particular stylist or that particular service. So you'll see it is only taken off of this service just here. Okay, so we're now ready to take this client's bill. We can see the total amount is £39 and is highlighted very conveniently in big bright red letters. To the left-hand side, this is where we have all of our payment type options, such as cash, card, account, and so forth. It is not to be confused with this button here where it says card. This is your client's profile card where all of their personal information sits. The reason this is here is you may get your client that says, oh, just to let you know, I've changed my address, or I've changed my phone number. So it's a very handy way to be able to update that automatically. So I'm going to say that my client is going to pay for their £39 bill between a mixture of cash and card, which is absolutely fine to do so. So I'm going to say they're going to pay by the card first, and I would always recommend you do so because, of course, if their card declines, there makes no sense sending them to a cash machine because they probably won't return with anything. Okay, so just a handy tip there for you. So I'm going to click the Visa debit credit card in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, choose the credit and debit card button and simply type in how much they wish to pay on credit or debit card. And click the Done button. You'll now see there is an outstanding amount of £20. If they wish to pay using a separate credit or debit card, you can add that in here, but I said they're going to pay via cash. So simply click the Done button, and you'll now see it says there is an outstanding amount of £20. Simply click the cash button, and again, type in how much cash they've given you, because it will work out the change for you. So type in how much cash they have given you. It will then prompt you to rebook this client. Clicking the rebooking button will take you directly to the appointment book where you can rebook the appointment. For the purposes of this webinar, I'm just going to click the Done button. Now, all importantly, what we do now is we click the End Sale button. This, if your setup is that way, it will then print out a receipt and you can then hand that to the client. Now I've switched the printer off here so we don't keep printing loads of receipts out. So we can now see we have now checked out our client and they've gone to a checked out color. Okay, so I'm going to make one more appointment and I'm going to check it out using an account payment. Okay, so I'm going to say a client has walked through the door and wishes to pop money on their account. Okay, now an account can sometimes be used as a deposit. Okay, now I'm going to go through this in more detail when we do our advanced appointments, but I have been asked in the last couple of weeks, so I did say I would add it onto this webinar. So when a client walks through the door, or in fact, if maybe a client's friend, family member, that kind of thing, wishes to put money on someone's account, we always do this through the point of sale screen. So on the right-hand side, we click onto point of sale. And importantly, from the top left-hand corner, we always choose the client because, of course, if you imagine, we can't put money on someone's bill if we don't choose that particular client. So I'm going to put money on my client here, Will Smith's account. Now, to put money on the account, simply click on one of the empty grey sale lines. It doesn't matter who you choose here. We're now going to click the yellow briefcase where it says account, because we're going to put money on Will Smith's account. In the price box, say how much money you would like to pop on his account and click the Done button. And then just check this out like a normal transaction. And of course, all importantly, we always click the End Sale button. So Will Smith now has £100 on his account. Now don't worry, there's no expiry for this, so they can pop it on and use it at will. So how do we know that our client has money on their account? So if we go to the client screen on the right-hand side, and if we search for Will, you will see there is a green book just here indicating he has money on his account. And again, on our dashboard, we can see in green letters and numbers, it says £100 owed to this client. So let's pop Will Smith in for a service so he can redeem the money off of his account. So again, I'm going to choose Will Smith, pop him in for a service. I'm going to do the tag as a request client. And I'm going to pop him in for a full set of nails. Cheer himself up a little bit with everything been going on. I'm going to arrive the client, and I'm now going to check the client out. Now, don't worry if you do forget to arrive the client and go straight to the checkout, it will automatically turn the client blue. Because if you think about it as a real life scenario, you can't check the client out if they've not physically arrived into your salon. We really have thought of everything here. Okay, so we can now see we've got Will Smith at the point of sale screen, and in the top right hand corner, we've got £100, okay? We can see he's got £100 on his account. So what we're now going to do is redeem some of that money off of his account. To do so, if you remember, the account button is the yellow briefcase just here. So we're going to click onto that, and you can see the bill is £36. So all we do is we click the Done button. Again, it will prompt you to rebook, and we now click the End Sale button. That will redeem that £36 off of Will's account. So if we go back to our client screen on the right-hand side, find Will, you will now see it has been updated accordingly. And that is how we can add money to our client's account and then redeem it. Now, I did have one question come through there as well. Someone's just asking that it will not let me end sale. It could be that you haven't taken the correct amount of money. It will only let you end sale if they have taken the full amount for the bill. And it will also only let you end sale if you're on the correct day. So you can only essentially take the bill for if they're due in today. You can pop money on someone's account any day you like, but actually only taking the bill will only be on to today. If not, Leslie, if you're still having issues, drop me a screenshot at the end and I can have a look. I can always jump on via TeamViewer and have a look as well. Okay, so what I'll do that one more time because I know a lot of times people do get a little bit confused when it comes to adding money to someone's account. So I'm going to create another bill. I'm going to add the money to someone else's account. So again, I'm going to go to the point of sale screen. In the top left-hand corner, I'm going to choose a client because remember, we always have to add the account payment to a particular client. And this time I'm going to choose my client, James here. I'm going to add an account payment to James's account. I'm going to click the done button. I'm going to click the gray sale line just here. It doesn't matter who you choose. Nobody will earn commission on account payments. And I'm going to click the yellow briefcase where it says account to add money to their account first and foremost. Here, I'm going to pop a price in of how much money they wish to have on their account, i.e. £50. And then in the left-hand corner, we're going to choose how they're going to pay for popping this money on this account. So I'm going to say they're going to pay for putting £50 on James's account via cash. Now in the bottom right-hand corner, we should have that end sale button available to us. And that has now popped £50 on James's account. To redeem this, I'm going to pop a service in again for James. Is it done? Perfect. Lovely. Was it just, might have been that you just weren't saying how you were paying for it, cash or card there. If you just think of it as a literal scenario, you are putting money on their account, but of course somebody does need to pay in order for that money to go on the account. So you need to choose whether it's cash or card, how they're going to put money on that account. Perfect. So I'm going to make a couple more appointments and I'm then going to reschedule them and of course delete them and then show you how to pop a lunch in. So let's make another appointment. And again, let's make it for James. And again, I'm going to say this is a salon client. Now, if we wanted to reschedule this appointment for a completely different day, because maybe they can't make today and we wish to reschedule it for a completely different day, what we're going to do is just move that out of the way. We are going to right click onto the appointment and we're going to click where it says select. Okay, just here. Do you wish to move all of the appointments booked for today? So if they have more than one appointment, you can move all of them or just one of them. So I'm going to move just the one. It has now popped this appointment here for James into this folder just here. We're going to move to the day we wish to reschedule it for. And we're going to open up the folder. You'll now see we've got my appointment and my client here. We're going to click on the gray dotted square and we're going to drag it onto the appointment book by left clicking and holding and then dragging this appointment onto the appointment book. Move the selected appointments to 9 o'clock on the 7th of May with Chris. Now I'm going to reschedule it back to today. So again, I'm going to right click with the right hand side of our mouse and I'm going to click the select button. This has now popped this appointment into this folder just down here. We now reschedule to the day we wish to reschedule it for, so i.e. today. We open up the folder, click the gray dotted square, and then click and drag with the left side of our mouse in one move onto the appointment book. And click done to confirm this. Now, if we wish to cancel or delete an appointment, again, we're going to right click. And right down the bottom of the screen here, we're going to click the delete button. You will notice it is handily, if that's even a word, conveniently located right at the bottom at the polar opposite to arrive, so you don't accidentally get the two confused. So we're going to click the delete button, and then we can choose one of 4 reasons why we're cancelling or deleting this appointment. Just to let you know, no reason will not be recorded on the client's profile, but client cancellation, no-show, and contraindication will be. So typically, if we click the no reason button, that is maybe because we made an error in making the appointment. The appointment has now been cancelled, and because I chose client cancellation, that has been recorded on the client's profile. So the last thing I'm going to show you this afternoon, ladies and gents, is of course how to schedule a task. Now this is typically used for blocking out the day for rep meetings and most importantly lunches. So again, just like booking a normal appointment, we're going to click onto the correct time cell. And in the top left-hand corner, you will see it says schedule a task. We're going to click the done button. And you will now see I've got 3 tasks available. If you wish to, you can add your own in. So if I click the lunch and then click done, I've added my lunch in. And again, you can click and drag and make the appointment longer and shorter if needs be. And of course, you can move it around. And lastly, you can add a note onto it if you wish to. Perfect. And that is scheduling a task. So there we go. So about 45 minutes, they're a little under the hour. That is the very basics and a refresher of the shortcut system. Now, if you're a new user to shortcuts and you've never used it before, or if you're thinking of transition over to us, this is the absolute minimum, the absolute basics. Moving forward with loads of webinars and of course the training you will have with us, we will go into so much more detail, inclusive of reports, and there's probably more than I could list on hands, feet, and everything involved in there. Now, of course, if you are a shortcuts user, maybe a front of house staff member, and that was a bit of a brush up, again, that was just the basics, just to ease us back in. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we are going to be going through our more advanced appointments and more advanced details, as well as our things like our apps, our cloud appointments, marketing, which of course we have at 3 p.m. today as well. Just to let you know as well, just before the questions do come in there, we are going to be running in the next sort of 10 to 2 weeks time. We are going to be running a special offer, okay? And it's only going to be available for the next 30 to 40 salons. It's going to be 50% off all one-to-one training with myself. It will be web, but essentially it means you can go over anything you would like to go through. So anything that's troubling you, anything you particularly want, you will have my undivided attention and we can go through everything. It's going to be great to ease you back into the salon. I can sort out the stock with you. I can go through cloud appointment book, make sure the marketing's up to date. So that's 50% off, but it is only going to be for the next 30 to 40 salons, starting in around the next 10 days. If that is something you want to go ahead with, please do let me know. Education@shortcuts.co.uk, or you will get my email address. Pop me an email or call customer care on 0161 972 4900, and it's option 1. Okay, so do give them a call and just explain the situation and we'll get that sorted out. But lovely. Thank you ever so much for joining me this afternoon. If you do have any questions, of course, please feel free to drop those across now. How do I get the client summary on the right on the search client screen? I just have the letters and numbers. Do you mean this bit, Ellie? Let me just double check. When you're in the client screen, do you mean this bit in the middle just here where it says like, oh, to the client? This is essentially what we refer to as the dashboard. So all of this bit here, is this what you're referring to? Okay, no problem. Oh, sorry, I missed your other questions about how do I get the clients from the screen? Yeah, not a problem. If you're watching this and you found you don't have this, I'm going to show you how to switch this on now. So if you go to the setup screen on the right-hand side, and if you click onto configuration, over on the right-hand side, if you go down to where it says general, just here, And then at the top, if you click where it says general, again, just here with the 2 cogs, what you want to do is you want to pop a tick in here where it says display client dashboard. And that will enable you to have that section in the middle, Ellie, and of course, if anyone else is watching that as well. So that is display client dashboard. Now, it is also worth checking while you are here. Go into the appointment book just underneath this and ensuring you've got a tick where it says show touch tip. That will enable you to bring up all the basic information of the appointment in the appointment book screen as well. Now, whenever you do make any changes, it may just bring up this little error, not really an error, sorry, just a pop-up in the middle of the screen, just to restart your shortcut system. To restart shortcuts, if you click exit, and then next exit, and then exit again, and just restart it, it will bring that back up for you. It's basically just like restarting shortcuts for you. What's assistance for? Very, very good question. Assistant here is our appointment assistant. Now, it may be worth Carly jumping on our advanced appointments because we're going to go through our appointment assistant. Essentially what that is, if you think of like Siri, but without the vocalness of it, if you want to pop all of your clients' information into the appointment book to basically regurgitate all of the available time slots. Now, we are going to be running this again in the next couple of weeks because it's going to be very handy when our salons open, because of course we're going to be really busy. So you may have a client that throws lots of different times at you that they want to come in for an appointment. Using the appointment assistant will allow you to search and ensure you do not miss one available time slot. Okay, so the appointment assistant essentially allows you to feed all of the client's appointment information into it, and it will then show you all the available time slots matching their criteria. But that's a little bit more advanced, but we are going to be running that in our advanced appointments, but that's what the appointment assistant does. I think I missed one. Oh, sorry, I missed where the touch tip bit was. It's exactly the same. If you click on to setup, oh, you found it. Okay, lovely. I think there was another question I missed. Can I have a bit of a demo on the SMS? I can do, yes. I don't know whether it's going to work on my test system, but I will certainly try. The only thing I'm going to be able to do within this test system is essentially send out confirmation text messages. So if you did want to send out confirmation text messages, usually they're set up automated. But if you did want to send them out, at the bottom right-hand corner, if you click the menu button, and if you click confirmation status, we just click yes to get rid of that. So all of these are obviously just all generic clients. They're not real clients without any details. To send out your confirmation text messages, down the bottom here, it may be a little bit hard to see on my screen, but there is a contact button just here. Now, the reason mine doesn't appear is because I haven't got an account set up to send out text messages, because of course this is just a test system. Touch tip again. Yep, no worries. So just to check if you do or don't have touch tip is when you click onto the appointment or touch it with your finger, and it brings up this screen just down here. If you don't have this, to set this up, click onto the setup button in the bottom right-hand corner. Click configuration. Over on the left-hand side, bottom left-hand corner, if you click the general tab, and if you go to the middle section on the left-hand side where it says appointment book, and if you ensure there's a tick where it says show touch tip. And of course, while you're doing that, it may also be worth checking if you just click the general tab, the general button on the left-hand side, and just ensure you've got client dashboard enabled as well. Perfect, no worries. Excellent stuff. So just to reiterate there, that is the absolute basics we've gone through today, just to sort of get you a little bit off the ground and running. In our advanced, we go through advanced filtering, the appointment system, the wait list, cashing up, petty cash, all manner of things like that, just to get you started. But we just want to ease you in, okay? We appreciate you may not have been in a salon for 4 to 5 weeks now. I forget, you know what it's like. But yeah, we're just easing you back in there. And of course, we do often have a lot of people that watch our webinars that aren't Shortcuts users as of yet. So this is just an introduction to them as well. But of course, if you are watching this and you don't currently have Shortcuts, you will have full-on training to go through everything that we have to offer. Perfect. Any other questions for me this afternoon, ladies and gents? If you're not aware, we do also have a fantastic webinar at 3 p.m. today for Shortcuts Marketing, and this is all utilizing our cloud appointment book as well. So that's going to be going through Shortcuts Marketing, and we can get campaigns set out in under 10 minutes. Okay, so it's a fantastic program to be using. Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Ellie. Just saying there. Thought it was just going to be the basic one, but it's amazing little things that you don't know about that can make a massive difference. Absolutely. So this is basically just scratching the surface. When we move on to our advanced appointments, we're going to be going through wait lists, the appointment assistant, of course, which somebody pointed out as well, advanced filtering, undoing last actions, recurring appointments, all manner of things we're going to be going through. How to use a little keyboard shortcut to search for an appointment, loads of things. We're going to really delve in deep. So it's going to make your user experience so much easier. And of course, when clients do come through the door, you're not going to have time to be thinking about everything else. So you're going to be such a whiz. You're going to be so quick. You're going to get appointments booked in quicker. You're going to be more efficient. And of course, ultimately, hopefully, you're going to earn more money and get more clients through the door. So that's our goal to help you out there. Perfect. Anything else I can help anyone out with this afternoon? Okay, lovely. So I think that's it for all of the questions this afternoon. Not a problem. We've got just over half an hour until our Shortcuts Marketing one. So it gives everyone a time for a break. If you do have any questions, of course, please feel free to drop those in an email to me, and I'll be more than happy to assist and answer those where I can. But thank you ever so much for joining me. If this was your first time on the webinars, thank you ever so much. And of course, if you are a new Shortcuts user or moving over to Shortcuts, thank you ever so much. And of course, welcome to our fantastic program. For everyone else, I will hopefully speak to you all again soon. Take care and stay safe. Thank you ever so much. Bye-bye for now.